Sherry May, do you want to take the next question?
Sure. So this one comes from Jeannie Davies. Can you tell us about a time when perseverance was more important than anything else?
Well, last night at the gym, it was about 40 degrees, and at my gym, there's no air conditioning or anything, and it's full of all these fighters. So there's about 60 people in this tight gym, and I had to make it through my 2-hour practice where it's very hot and I couldn't breathe, and it was very important to persevere in that situation.
For me, it was, I think perseverance is an everyday quality you need in order to achieve like high level of success in sports. But if I had to pick one moment, I had a severe injury in 2009, a lower back injury, and during that process, to be disciplined and to keep, believing that one day I was going to be national team member. I was not at the time, and then that I would eventually qualify to Olympics. That's where, to be as serious as possible every day was difficult. But one of my coach told me to see those big objectives as marathon and not as sprints. So it's to do the little things every day that would end up, making me reach my objective. So for me, 2009 was a difficult year, and I had to dig deep into perseverance. Yes.
Question here from Nina Shaw. And Nina Shaw asks, well, rather, she says that her 8-year-old daughter asks, why do you do it?
Sometimes you wonder. I'm sure Dory was wondering why she was doing it yesterday at 42 degrees in the gym. You go ahead, Dory.
Yeah, like Antoine said, sometimes you wonder yourself why you're doing it. You wonder if it's all worth it. Some days are very, very hard. Sometimes there are sacrifices that you make that you're like, man, this is not a sacrifice I feel like making right now, but you have to make it. And then, sometimes there's a good day where you're reminded that you love what you're doing and you're so lucky to be able to do what you're doing. And then other times it's, ideally you don't wait till it's when you're on the podium winning something to realize that that's why you're doing it. You got to try to feel like you know exactly why you're doing it almost every day. But generally it's because, we're good at something. We love what we're doing. And that's kind of it for me. I have so much fun wrestling, so I don't know why not. I wouldn't do it for my job.
Yeah, I think that's the most important part, having fun. If you don't have fun, I don't think you can push yourself to those levels. And I think when people wonder if it's worth it, I think when you end up reaching your objective, it all makes so much sense. And even if you don't, just knowing that you tried your best and that you give everything you had, it's a great feeling to leave the mat and knowing that it was Antoine or Dory at their best today. There's nothing else that I could have done to be more ready.
So what's intriguing to me is to hear that even at your level of competition, there's still the element of fun involved. That you still need to have that element to engage with, and I think that's wonderful. So that you're there because fundamentally you like what you're doing, and that's a wonderful message, I think, for children and athletes of all ages.
Antoine and I are both in combat sports, right? So a lot of people relate combat sports to kind of like a chess game on a mat, right? So I've had times where I've been in situations where I wasn't having a lot of fun wrestling, and it was kind of a job, and the coaches that I was working with wanted it to feel like it's a job, and you have to suffer through it and whatever. And honestly, like mentally, I wasn't performing as well as I could have because I wasn't feeling that fun or that excitement. Whereas when I'm going in there and I know I'm ready, first of all, but I love what I'm doing. You're on the mat and you're like in wrestling. I'm always trying to find ways to trick my opponent, or like basically like a chess game on the mat, right? So if I'm mentally fresh and happy to be there and I'm having fun, I perform so much better. So it's important to make sure it stays fun.
Great message. Yeah. Punita, you got a question? You want to take the next one?
Yes, the next one really came around family support. I know Antoine's family is really involved in judo already, but how does your, the support of your loved ones really matter? Does it matter in the end?
Absolutely. They've been there since the beginning, and they've supported me through the very, very good times and the very, very bad times. So through success and failure, they were there. So for me, no matter how it goes, if I succeed or I fail, I want to be there with them. And on top of that, they also do judo. I was the first one, and then they all started doing judo. So it makes it even more of a family thing. So I would say a couple days before the tournament, I won't talk to them so much, but after, no matter what happens, they are the people I want to see. So very important that they are in my surrounding.
That's nice to hear.
Um, I think one thing that maybe I didn't necessarily see coming when I first started wrestling, but you're surrounded by a lot of people, especially at competitions or on social media and things, who are, I guess, they're just fans of what you're doing. And I've also met a lot of people who occasionally almost just fixate on the fact that I'm an elite level wrestler, I'm going to the Olympics. They don't really always care to kind of get to know who I am. It's kind of on that. So sometimes you could kind of get carried away wondering, like, is this just who I am? Am I just an Olympian? Am I just a wrestler? And then it's like almost more pressure when you go to a competition and it's like, wow, this is all I am. I cannot fail. Like, this is what people like me for. But that just makes the support of friends and family that much more important, because it just reminds you, like, you're doing this because you love doing it and you're good at it. But if you fail, like, that's not your entire life. We're still here to support you, and that's super important.
Absolutely. I like how you kind of attribute that to, is that all you are? And I think having young kids, I've established different cohorts for them. They have their school cohort, their gymnastics cohort, and I think that what you're saying is, you're more than just one piece of your puzzle, which I love. That's a great message.
Mm-hmm.
Sherry May.
Yeah, so I have...
you want to take the next question?
Yeah, so Joan, I don't speak French, so Sean Douet. My apologies. Children have asked, what has been your biggest struggle, and how do you get through it when you've hit that wall or that biggest struggle? How do you get through it?
For me, my biggest struggle was, I have to get back to that injury I was talking about in 2009. So how I would get through it, if I had any advice I would give, is just I would wake up in the morning and ask myself, okay, what can I do today to make my situation better? And at night I would ask myself, okay, did I do everything today to make my back in better shape, or closer to being back on the mats fighting? So for me, it was just to take it one day at a time and do all those little things that at the end would add up and make me ready to fight again as fast as possible.
Absolutely.
It's hard to pick what my biggest struggle ever was. I mean, there's mental struggles, there's physical struggles, there's all sorts of different struggles, right? So, I guess in terms of physical struggles, I'll go back to my 40-degree practice last night, where I'm doing all these sprints and basically can't breathe, and all I'm thinking about is pain is weakness leaving the body, and I'm going to suffer now. And when I have one of my toughest matches at the Olympics, I'm just going to be that much more prepared because I suffered right now. And like, I don't know if it's just for MMA, but a lot of people often say, you do the bleeding at the gym so you don't have to bleed in combat. So kind of that's what mentally gets me through the more physical struggles. And I think the mental ones are harder to deal with sometimes, because I think it's more a question about being patient when it comes to that. And like Antoine said, like you wake up and you're like, what can I do today that will better my situation? There's really no point ever, just sitting and dwelling in your problems. You have to find a way to be productive and proactive. And by staying like that, sometimes the patience isn't even so bad, because the time goes by when you have something to keep yourself busy.
Absolutely, that's fantastic.
Well, So maybe all that fierce heat training in the gymnasium in Montreal will stand you well when you end up in Rio. Who knows what we'll be doing down there? I think you might, yeah. So it might help you out. Who knows? I have one more question here, and then we're going to let our athletes go, and then get back to their lives of training and doing what they need to do to get ready for Rio. Now, I want you to brace yourselves, Antoine and Dory, because this may be the biggest question of your career, and this comes from the children of Jennifer Panarski, and her kids want to know, what do Dory and Antoine eat for breakfast?
For me, I really like sweets. So for me, anything sweet will do. I like, everything Nutella, sweet cereals. I really enjoy them. But on a more regular basis, and when I have to be serious, fruits, oatmeal, cereal. Yeah, nothing very out of the ordinary.
Well, I guess it's similar for me and Antoine. Depends on the time of year, I guess. If we have to, I guess you don't really lose weight, Antoine.
No,
You gain weight. Okay. Well, I have to lose about 8 pounds, which isn't crazy compared to some athletes, but I do have to watch what I eat when it gets closer to competition. So closer to competition, like it'll be hard-boiled egg, oatmeal with fruit and coffee would be my breakfast, but don't like it. If it was up to me, probably eggs, waffles, bacon, sausages, toast, covered all in Nutella.
Yeah.
What else, Antoine? This is important.
That's good enough. Good enough.
Oh, eggs Benedict, those are good.
Oh, those are the best.
Yeah.
Punita, Sherry May, do you have any parting shots? Any final questions?
No parting shots per se, but just, we're so proud of you, and my children and we are just going to just be amazed at what you two can do at the Olympics. And as a vice principal, I've brought your names up several times to my students, and just to say how blessed I am to be part of Active for Life, but how lucky I am I get to have a few conversations with athletes, so they think I'm a rock star. So yeah, thanks for that.
I have to second what Sherry May says, because my kids think I'm so awesome having talked to Antoine and Dory.
Yeah.
It's what I see is two very, very charming young people. I can't believe I have to say that now. I'm like an old guy.
No,
when did I stop? When did I stop being a young person? But anyways, let me say this. I look at you guys and I think, wow, this is really inspiring. Here's a couple of young people who have, really, created goals for themselves and dedicated their lives and worked extremely hard, and that's inspirational for all Canadians. And it's really wonderful that you've given us this opportunity to talk with you today, and so that we may share some of this with our kids and across Canada. And I thank you so much, Antoine and Dory.
Thanks to you too, all of you too. Thank you. It's I think I'll speak for Dory too when I say that we're very happy to be part of Active for Life, and thank you for giving us this opportunity. Hopefully we fulfilled our role good enough.
The most important thing is we will all be thinking of you and cheering for you as you head to Rio. So thank you very much again for the time taken today, and best of luck in Rio.